Okay. So this is my primary area, and also I do write technical blogs in one of the website, the Sec Master, or related to cybersecurity topics. And I'm also CISSP certified. I'm also certified threat intelligence analyst and threat hunting professional. I'm also CEH certified. So this is an overall introduction about me. Yeah. So let's see how to start. I'll share my screen.
Roma, just before you start, just wanted to say something about this course. Last 10 classes, we went through all Splunk architecture, like admin stuff. And Sulabh was really nice to give us a overview of the SOC, but we haven't done this course yet. This is sort of like the first thing we're doing. So I would really appreciate if you can start from the scratch. You know, there are
Yeah.
a lot of
This will
people
be
here from
starting from the
different
scratch. Yes.
background.
Yeah.
Thank you, Arama.
Yes. I do understand. So this is a little bit different from SOC. So I will be starting from the scratch. We will go through the basic and then we will move ahead. So yeah, let me just share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. So let me just go through the agenda here. So today's agenda will be we'll cover through the basic of threat, risk, and vulnerability, and then introduction to threat intelligence. And then we will be talking about OSINT, which is open source intelligence, and then different type of threat intelligence, the life cycle of threat intelligence, and why threat intelligence is important, and some of the practical use cases. So this will be a very basic session. I don't want to get into too much technical and create a lot of confusion. We will get into that later on. So yeah, you can stop me in between, or you can share it through the chat if you have any doubts or anything, or you can raise your hand and stop me in between if anything need to be clarified, so that we all can be in the same pace. So yeah, let's start with the basic question. I think we all are pretty much covered with the basic terminologies in cybersecurity. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. So can anybody explain me what is a threat?
Basically, the action performed by the hacker.
So, okay, action performed by the hacker. Yes, one side. Any other explanation?
It's like a malicious attempt on a particular system or a network.
Okay.
Which that can harm any organization. That the action which harms any organization.
Exactly. Anything which creates a negative impact to an organization or a person or whatever it is, that is a threat. So it is a potential danger or which creates a negative influence or a harm or a damage. So that is a threat. So can anybody give me some examples of a threat?
For example,
phishing,
like yeah, phishing.
I have a question. So can anyone of you be a threat to SIM experts? Not individually asking, but can anybody of you be a threat to SIM expert?
Yes, anybody can.
might be.
So yeah, so it's not just a hacker, so it's not just anything. Anybody can become a threat. So anybody who can create a negative impact can become a threat to that particular organization or whatever it is. So that is a threat. Then what will be the next point? What is the vulnerability?
The weaknesses of any like servers, yeah, website or anything.
Vulnerability is nothing but malicious, like loopholes.
Any weak point where an intruder can get
Vulnerability
in.
is nothing but a weakness.
Weakness of software, hardware.
Exactly. So vulnerability is nothing but that. So some examples of vulnerabilities.
Weak
Any
password.
patch is not updated.
Okay. So I think everybody is in the same pace, right? So is there anybody who's not aware about such basic terminology, anything like that? Okay. So yeah. So we understood what is a threat, we understood what is a vulnerability. Now what is a risk?
The possibility and impact of a harm
Database.
that could occur and asset.
Okay. In the terms of threat and vulnerability, what will be a risk?
Risk can be any possible
Loss of data.
exposure
Data breach.
or
How
Yeah.
much data we can lose?
Not how much data, but yeah, risk is what? Risk happens.
Risk is actually the main meaning of risk is to कि मतलब क्या
Both threat and
possibilities हो
vulnerability are
सकती है कि that
recognized in the
what
risk
kind of
management.
possibility that the hacker can anyone can anyone can come into our organization and steal anything
Yeah.
in a form
So it
of
is
data
the
or anything.
yeah, it is the potential for the harm. Now comes the key point. What is a risk? Risk is the threat and vulnerability with the value of the information. So if there is no vulnerability, the threat alone can't do anything. So if it is just a vulnerability and there is no threat to that particular system, there is no risk there. So if there is no hacker and you have some of the vulnerabilities in your system, there is no point. There is no risk because there is nobody have any intention to create any harm to your organization. So a threat and a vulnerability should occur, and along with what is the criticality of that system which they are trying to exploit. So that will further understand what is the risk to that organization. So based on that, we can prioritize, we can improve whatever we need to do. So that based on these two factors, so the criticality, the threat, the vulnerability, if all these three comes together, a cyber risk will happen. So this is a basic overview of threat, vulnerability, and risk. So is this clear for everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. This let me give another thing. Any interview you go, no matter what is the level, this is one of the basic questions which everybody will be asking. So this concept should be very clear. So let's move on to the next thing. So we will go and introduction to the threat intelligence. So before that, can anybody tell me what exactly are we doing in a SOC team?
Basically investigate the
Monitoring
logs
the
whenever the
monitoring
alert
the
came.
threats.
Monitoring and protecting company database or
Analyzing the log.
Analyzing the logs,
Simply monitor
monitoring
the
and
log
protect.
events.
Okay. What else?
Monitoring the unwanted
Protecting the
happening.
data or information.
Analyzing the data and protecting the data. And reporting also, monitoring and reporting to the concerned teams.
Okay, analyzing and protecting. So which tool are we using? We will be using some of the SIM tools, right? So Splunk or ArcSight or any other tools we will be using. So these tools will give you what will they give? They will analyze all the logs from multiple log sources across the organization, and it will alert you, right? If how the alert is created, what is an alert which creates in this SIM platform or in any platform?
In terms
Correlation
of
there are some
behavior, in
predefined
terms of machine
configurations.
learning.
Using that, the alerts can be created.
So what are we configuring here? Something which is an anomaly, which should not happen, right? So something which is a malicious thing or something suspicious is happening out of the normal, that will come as a correlation or anything, or as an alert, right? Correlation is when all the logs are compared and brought. But what is the use case, the rule here? So the rule here is the normal logs will be going through the SIM, and the SIM will check which is the suspicious pattern here based on the use cases behavior, based on the use cases provided by our SIM analyst or the admins or whomever it is. So every organization will have their own requirement. So based on that, there will be some use cases. So if you are giving brute force, then what? Brute force, if the requirement is met, that alert will trigger. And then as a SOC analyst, we need to go through those alert, verify this is false positive or true positive, and take the necessary action. Am I correct? Okay.
Yes.
No, what kind of approach is this? This is a reactive approach. So reactive approach means it already happened. It already happened in your infra, correct? So somebody was trying to log in. So this is an action which already happened, and then you are taking action on it, correct? No. So when it comes to threat intelligence, it is the other side of the picture. The other side of the picture means it is a proactive approach. So we are preventing something which preventing it from happening. So we are giving some inputs to our SIM or to our EDR or something, so that this attack won't happen to our organization, or we will be notified, the SIM analyst will be notified prior enough that something is going to happen. So this is the simplest way of telling what is the overall view of threat intelligence. I know this is very vague, very basic, but keep this in mind. SOC and monitoring will be the reactive approach, and threat intelligence will be the proactive approach. Is this point clear?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll give you a scenario. I'll give you a simple example what is happening. Okay. Imagine you are living in a society. There are around 15 houses in that society. In that 15 houses, around 3-4 houses got robbed within the last 1 week. So some robbery is happening, everybody is so afraid, and 4-5 houses are robbed. And then police came for investigation. So what is happening in that particular neighborhood? Everybody is so concerned why that robbery is happening, and the police came for investigation. Now, when the police came for investigation, they noted that there are some certain parameters which are common among the robbed houses. Okay. So police did their investigation here, and they came to know that these robbers are coming after midnight. So after midnight they are coming, and they found out few other parameters. So we have seen in that Doom movie and all, right? He'll put that A sign. So like that, every time there will be some hints which will be left by the attacker. So here, if you are talking, for example, if I'm seeing the attackers are keeping, they're coming after midnight. So that is one thing which is observed by the police. Second thing, they are seeing that they are only targeting houses with a number lock or a particular kind of lock. Other houses they are not targeting, and they only want houses with the gold. So if they are going inside the house, they are not stealing anything, just the gold. They are just stealing the gold. So these are the some of the parameters which is understood by the police. And then what the police will do? Police will create a notice informing to the other people in the society, saying that, see, robbery is going on. Please be aware that the robbers will be coming in the midnight. Houses with the gold, please be aware, or the houses with a particular lock or anything. They might be intruding through the window or any kind of lock. So these houses with this particular kind of lock, everybody be careful. So that is what the police is going to give information to the whole society. Now, what will the other houses do? They will, whomever is whomever have these kind of things, like whomever have gold in their house or whomever have these particular features in their house, so they will have the precaution to make sure that they will put some alarm system, or they will secure their lock more carefully, so that the intruders or the robbers won't come to their particular house. So now, out of this whole scenario, what will be the threat intelligence here? The threat is the robber, correct, right? So the vulnerability can be what? That weak lock or some whatever it is, that lock which they're breaking and getting into. Now, in this scenario, what the other houses can do? Understanding the risk, they can take certain actions to prevent this thing from happening. So this is what threat intelligence do. So threat intelligence collect data from the all ongoing attacks. So we will hear a lot of attack every day. You open newspaper, we will get here attack, that is getting breached, this company is getting breached, that ransomware attack, this ransomware attack. So many cases will be happening around us all the time. So from all these attacks, there will be some threat actors. So this is not something which is happening like uh, this is not magically happening. This will be obviously done by some humans will be there behind every cyber attack. So when we first hear any hacking or cyber attack, we'll feel some, my god, some robotic activities happening. But at the end of the day, it will be always done by a human being. So every human being, when they do something, so there will be a pattern for them. There will be certain tools at which they use, or there will be certain IP addresses, hash values, so etc. Some parameters, some tokens which they use for that particular attack. So that intelligence will be collected. That tokens are known as intelligence. So their methodology, their modus operandi, so whatever is there, that kind of things will be collected, and this will be published by whom? By the researchers. So researcher groups will publish this kind of things, and whichever is the organization. So if I'm working in a retail based organization, I will check Is that intelligence relevant to my organization? Is this particular attacker group trying to target what retail based industries, or I'm based out of India? Are they targeting Indian companies? So this kind of information will be collected, and I will use that information to protect my organization from these threat actors. So is this clear? This is the simplest explanation of what a threat intelligence is. Anybody have any
Yes.
questions on this?
Thank you. Yes.
No.
All clear?
Oh, here
Yes.
resource group means like what?
Okay, research group in the sense whomever is identifying this vulnerability. It can be you, it can be anybody. Most of the time it will be some vendor groups or Microsoft or there will be a lot of research teams who are behind this, who we have heard about bug bounties, everything, right? So anybody can be a researcher, anybody who observes such an attack, who can understand it in its depth and then explain it to the society. That is a researcher. So normally in cases who it will be, there are multiple security vendors who do such kind of research works. There will be people who do a lot of research on this thing, this Palo Alto, everybody, and anybody who is into the security field who have the knowledge on researching such kind of attack. Or imagine SIM experts got attacked. So any one of you who can do an analysis of the attack and tell them that this particular group is targeting us using these methodology. They are doing phishing attack. Once they are getting into the system, they are doing something for persistence. So all this kind of mechanism, any one of you can understand and then explain it to the society, give it to the society. So this is the method of doing, then you are the researcher. So depends on that. That is a researcher coming here. Is that okay? Is that
Thank
clear? Yeah.
Ma'am,
Yes, thank you.
in reward we can say create researcher.
Pardon?
Ma'am, in other word we can say create researcher.
Create a what?
Researcher.
Create a researcher.
Is saying threat researcher.
See, anybody, even I am a researcher for my company, right? I am going through all the things. I am understanding what is happening and then implying it for my company or my organization. So depending on you, what you work, so what research and development you are doing, so all these things will become as a threat researcher. Is that
Is there
what
any
you're
common
asking?
platform that you report that threat to the a certain organization or
Yeah,
worldwide organization?
I'll come to that. Mainly it'll be open source. So otherwise you can buy, just like other tools, we can buy licensed version. I'll get into that. So I think this part is clear. So let me just okay. So now here we can see threat intelligence is evidence-based information about cyber attack that cybersecurity experts organize and analyze. This information may include mechanism of an attack, how to identify that an attack is happening, ways different type of attack might affect the business, action-oriented advice about how to defend the attack. So now can you correlate with these context with our example which we have given about the robots?
Yes.
Understanding, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So now coming to a cybersecurity term, mechanism of attack can be anything. It can be phishing, it can be social engineering, it can be some leaked credentials over the internet. So it can be anything of that sort. So mechanism of attack can be anything in that way. How to identify that a particular attack is happening. So I told you, right, that so anyway, these hacker groups will be humans only. So there will be certain tools which certain people like. So based out of the tools, we can identify that this thing is happening. Or anybody is aware about the term IOC, indicator of compromise, IOC?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
No.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so I will give a detailed explanation on IOCs, maybe not in this session because it will become too much of information. But IOC is nothing but the token of intelligence. We told, right, that what say targeting gold or targeting this thing. So that particular token of intelligence is known as an IOC. So in a cyber attack, what will be an IOC? It can be an IP address. It can be a hash value. It can be a domain value. It can be an email address. So all these kind of that small token of intelligence is known as an IOC, indicator of compromise. So how to identify that attack is happening? So I told about IOCs, right? So generally what happens is one of the core component of threat intelligence is we collect such IOCs, we push it towards the SIM, and we start monitoring. The SOC team will start monitoring these IOCs. So anywhere, imagine that a particular IP is used by an attacker to hack into a system, hack into an organization, and your SOC analyst is observing that same IP communicating to your internal infra. Then that person can be aware that okay, something is going wrong, something fishy is happening. So based on that IOCs, SOC analyst can come to a decision, do further analysis, check did really something happen or was it a false positive. So all these kind of things can be done using the IOCs. Again, ways different type of attack might affect the business. So which way can an attack, like what do you say, attacks might affect the business? If a cyber attack happen, what will happen to the business actually?
Major
We may lose all
disruption.
the data.
Data.
We may
Financial
lose
loss,
the data. We may lose.
Reputation,
Reputation,
reputation loss,
Yeah, reputation loss,
money loss,
financial loss,
data loss.
legal complications.
legal complications. Yes. So many kind of variety of
disruption of
problems can
service.
disruption of service.
Altogether, business impact.
Yeah, business will be impacted. Business will be completely impacted. Reputation damage is one of the critical thing. Will you ever trust a company whose data is lost? You are going something. If you have multiple option and you're seeing that a company with they got into a cybersecurity. Think about a bank. Okay, so we have multiple bank, HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, all the banks. Now HDFC Bank got breached. Something happened to the HDFC Bank. Will you go and trust a bank with a breach or no? Even though despite they have done a lot of things and they might be secure enough, but still that once the reputation is gone, the trust is gone. If the trust is gone, the business is impacted. Ultimately, every organization is based out of business. Business is their ultimate goal and they have to keep it the business. So that is the primary goal here. So this is how that business will be impacted. So see, I'll tell you one thing. Cybersecurity is a cost center. Cybersecurity is not directly providing any profit to any organizations. So it is always something which take cost. We need a huge budget to set up that cybersecurity environment, that infra. So how is the company going to afford such kind of things? Because if an attack happen, our team need to protect so that it will help them preventing such future reputational damage or creating any further damage. So that is why once you get into the business and get into the organization, you will understand. Some companies won't understand the value of cybersecurity team. So they might be stringent with the budget which they give to the cybersecurity team. So all these kind of things, there are different ways. So different business leaders will see cybersecurity in a different way. Some people will think it is just a waste of money. Some people will understand the requirement of cybersecurity and give input accordingly. So there are different ways as such. Next is what? Action oriented advice on how to defend against attacks. So this one will give okay, if you're seeing that again, we'll come to that basic example. Brute force is happening, password spraying is happening, or any such kind of things are happening. So once we know that this particular attacker is using this method, we can do the prevention here. We can do the defense here. How we can implement certain use cases, or if it is a vulnerability, there is a particular product with a critical vulnerability on it, we can patch the system. So we can take the necessary action based on that way. So generally, a threat intelligence analyst will it can be in different ways. Some companies will have threat intelligence team separately from the SOC, and they will be working both hand in hand. In some companies, threat intelligence analyst will be the SOC analyst itself who will be providing the info and monitoring at the same time. So if it is a separate team, threat intelligence analyst research people will give you input to the SOC team telling that these are the recommendations which need to be followed. These are the things which action should be taken. Implement this use case, monitor that logs, monitor for this particular scenario, this particular order of things, pattern of things. All these kind of action oriented advice will be provided by the threat intelligence analyst. Am I clear about the basic here?
It is like incident response, like.
No, that's the difference. I told you, incident response will be the reactive approach. But what is threat intelligence? Threat intelligence is the proactive approach. You're giving the input before something is happening. So what the SOC analyst detected and everything will be going again in the incident response side, the SOC analyst side, everything. So threat intelligence is giving the advice to prevent something. Prevention is better than cure, right? So it will be the before part of it.
Can we say threat hunting?
Threat hunting is another way. What is threat hunting? Intelligence is, we said intelligence is giving the tokens. So what will be threat hunting?
Finding the
Doing
bugs.
the analysis of
Pardon?
Finding the bugs.
Identify the risk and mitigate
Based
it.
on threat intel, we can identify the
Identify the risk and we'll try to mitigate it, or like we can
Okay, different point of views. Yes, we can
Finding
use
the loophole.
finding the loopholes. Yeah, okay. So threat hunting is also a proactive approach. Okay, incident response and everything is a reactive approach. Threat intelligence and threat hunting is a proactive approach. What is proactive? We are just assuming. We are just defending before something happened. So threat hunting can be like in a gray area. We cannot say completely say it is a proactive reactive. But the thing is, in threat hunting, you're assuming your system is already breached. This thing already happened. An attacker is in your infra. They are already doing something activity, and my SOC system or my EDR or nothing have picked it up. That particular thing is not picked up by my system. So as a threat hunter, you are assuming that this is already happening and my system haven't picked it up. Now I need to do a hunt to identify, is there any traces of the attack? So that is a threat hunting. Threat hunting can use a large amount using the intelligence here. The methodology can be identified and then used later on for hunting. So that is a separate topic altogether. So I don't want to mix up into that. But yeah, everything is correlated here and there. Is the intelligence part clear?
Yes.
Any questions, any doubts?
Can you please explain threat hunting once again?
Okay, threat hunting is hunting for what is simply what is hunting? You're going to forest, you're hunting for some animals or some birds or whatever it is. You're hunting for something, right?
Yeah, looking for something. Just
Looking for
yeah.
something. So you're assuming that there is an attacker inside your infra, or already an attack is going on. Your systems have not captured it. So you are doing a hunt inside your organization using your SIM tools. You can use other tools. You can use any kind of tools relevant to the system. We can use, and we are doing a hunt to identify, is there something missed out? Is there something going on which is happening? Where we assume that already an attacker is there, and then we are doing the hunt. So that is threat hunting. We can use intelligence for hunting. A large amount of threat intelligence can be used for hunting. We can use SIM tools for hunting. We can identify the methodology. We can, because hunting is such a, see, you needle in a haystack, we'll say, right? How do you identify needle in a haystack? That is what is threat hunting. We don't know what is going on. We don't know where to start. If it is an, see, for SOC, SIM, this kind of things, if an alert is triggered, we know this is from this particular source. This is a web application attack. This is that attack. We know that. But for a hunting, where will you start? How will you start? So it's such a huge domain. It's such a huge area. How to start, what to start. So for that, we need to have a particular goal. So this is this particular part I'm searching. So I am only going to check through what database logs, or I'm only going to check through WAF logs or firewall logs or any particular network logs. So hunting is a huge area. That's why I don't want to mix it up here. Let's yeah, we use intelligence also for hunting. Everything will be there covered. Anything else? I think that clear for you, threat hunting? Like in an overview, I
Yes,
know
yes.
it won't cover everything, but yeah.
I think it comes under ethical hacking.
What? Pardon?
Ethical hacking,
Which one comes under ethical hacking you're asking?
threat hunting.
Ethical hacking.
You're different.
They were trying to find out any other I mean, like
So we are
threats
not
before.
hacking anything here. Are we hacking anything? So hacking kind of thing is like what? It is a, see, I want to give you another overview. SOC and intelligence, hunting, all these kind of things are mostly towards the blue teaming, defense area, right? So the other
Okay.
team, the VAPT team, penetration tester team, are the offensive team. So hacking is what? You're going to attack something. And how it will become an ethical hacking? Ethical hacking is when, see, these terminologies are vague, what we can say. Sometime you hacked something, you hacked a website. Now it depends upon you. You are going on telling that website owner or that vendor that I hacked your website. You have a vulnerability there. Please fix it. Now you become an ethical hacker.
With proper authorization, we can get ethical hacking, like something we are penetrating with proper authorization of any organization. That we
With
can
proper
do.
authorization, we are doing that is a penetration testing. It's not hacking, right? We are not going and hacking something. It's a penetration testing. We have the authorization. We have the permission from that particular team or particular organization to check, is there any vulnerability? Can anybody hack me? That is penetration testing side. So there are different areas in a cybersecurity team. Cybersecurity is not always SOC and this side. So cybersecurity, it's spread across two primary teams are red team and blue team. The SIM, SOC, threat intelligence, threat hunting, all these kind of things are defensive side. We are defending something from happening. All these kind of things are happening. So this is the defense area. Now offensive area is what? Penetration testing. You finding the bug within the vendor or within the product or whatever it is. So these kind of things will be the offensive side. But again, these all are ethical. We all are ethical people who are trying to protect the organization. We are not meaning to harm anybody. Is that clear? So if it comes under ethical hacking means, see, this is the difference between the terminologies. We can't categorize anything under anything. That is a different terminology. This is a different terminology. All are different areas. Okay. Okay, let's move ahead. So I mentioned, right, how we obtain threat intelligence. So there was a question by somebody, I don't know who it is. So how are we getting all these things? How are we exactly identifying these intelligence input, all these kind of things from where we are getting? So depending upon the organization, depending upon your budget, depending upon your capability or your requirement, you are a very critical business. You need to have a proper threat intelligence team to defend. You cannot afford any kind of loss or financial loss or reputational loss. You're a bank, you're a big bank. You cannot afford any kind of loss. Then you will invest in big tools which can give you more accurate information and everything. But if that is not the case, then what is the most reliable source here? We have a lot of open source intelligence tools available. Okay, so we are going to give a brief introduction on OSINT, open source intelligence. Before starting into OSINT, I just want to ask, are you people aware about cyber kill chain?
No.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes.
Little bit.
Aware about.
Anybody, anybody explain me, like, just a brief, I don't want all the points, but what is a cyber kill chain?
There will be like around six steps, I guess. Reconnaissance and
No, steps are okay, but just tell me what are we trying to get from that cyber kill chain?
Cyber kill chain basically do that it outlines the phase of cyber attacks.
Attacker, what kind
How
of
the
steps do you
cyber
follow
attack
to attack?
will be going on? What are the stages?
Stages
What
of
are the steps?
basically stages of different stages of cyber security.
Cyber
no,
attack,
And
cyber security.
no stages for compromising any system or anything. Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. So different stages how an attacker will compromise the system. So they'll start with reconnaissance, they'll start with something, then what? Create the weapon, then they'll exploit. So it's a step. So starting from the planning, right? So once you are into cybersecurity, the first question, if you go out and tell to anybody that I'm working in cybersecurity, the first question you're going to get is, do you know hacking? That will be the question. Everybody is thinking that cybersecurity means hacking. That's it. No other area. So, yeah, I mean, this is the primary response which everybody gets. You say that you are in cybersecurity, you get the first question, hacking. Is hacking that simple?
No.
No, it's
No.
not.
Hacking is not.
No.
Hacking is never simple. So there was.
No.
There are some scenario. One example I'll give you. There was a sunburst attack. Okay, this happened in, I think, 2022, maybe 2021, 22. So in that attack, that particular attacker group, so they were waiting. They studied about that particular, that their target was US government organizations and everything. So I'm not going deep into the attack, but what I meant to say is they studied about that organization a lot, years, to understand what is happening. So if you really go through and read about the articles on how that particular attack happened, how the attacker group came into that particular this thing, then we will understand that they have given a lot of research into it. They have conducted a lot of studies on it. Just give me a second. So a lot of studies into it, a lot of just give me a second.
Pretty much.
Okay,
a
sorry for the gap. So what were we talking? We were talking about the the amount of research which they do, the amount of reconnaissance is the first part, right? The amount of research which they do for investigating into something, to hack into something. So that effort. So how do they get the information on something? Imagine I want to know something on SimExpert. So how do I get it? I'll what you will do as normally, just think normally. If you think normally, you will go to the internet. You will search what is SimExpert. Correct, right? So you will go to the internet. Yeah, check what is SimExpert. You will check through the review. Then you will understand who. If you go through the review, then you will understand who all studied from there. Or if you go through the brochure, they might be putting some informations like what you can say. Yeah, this person got placed in this company. That person have this much package. So all these kind of things will be mentioned in that particular reviews or something. So an attacker can target such people. I'm just giving a scenario. Okay, I'm just giving. So they might find that person on LinkedIn. They might find that person on LinkedIn, and then they will go to them, and then they will see, they might talk, or they might see, or again, some another example. If you're saying, imagine you're working in an organization. You have seen LinkedIn profiles, right? LinkedIn profile is one of the main source where you can collect intelligence. So what I'm saying, I'm not saying don't create LinkedIn profile or anything, but what you give to the social media is very much important here. So I'm saying I'm working with Alshia Group right now. So I'm saying I'm working with Alshia Group, and I am giving in my profile that I'm working with Alshia. I have these tools. I have experience in this area. I'm giving intelligence about my company in my profile itself, that I have experience in these things. And an attacker who want to use that can use that. Are you getting me? Like they will understand, okay, this is the product which is used in this particular company, and if it have a vulnerability, let's target that. So this is how an open source intelligence.
Yes, they'll mention everything what they.
Yeah. So this is how an open source intelligence can be used as a starting point. Or again, you're getting some email addresses publicly. You would have used your company's email ID to log into some random websites, and then that website got breached or leaked or something, and they're getting your email ID. They're creating a drafted a proper email which is targeted to you. And when you get an email addressing to you properly, they have done a proper research on you, telling that, okay, I am these things. And then when they're targeting you and then giving you that particular thing, you will believe it automatically. Oh my God, how do they know this much personally about me? I think this is a legitimate one. Let me just click on it. So this is how open source intelligence can be used to hack or to get into something. So this is the intelligence. So if we get this such kind of intelligence, we can again use it for a defensive purpose as well. We can use it for offensive reasons. We can use it for defensive reasons. It's up to us or up to the analyst to use it for offensive or defensive, which way to use. So again, cybersecurity, I said, right? We all are supposed to be in an ethical area. So we always use it for defending something, not to attack somebody. So is it clear about open source intelligence?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so Again, open source intelligence can be used to enhance cyber threat intelligence by leveraging publicly available information. OSINT can help identify potential threat by monitoring social media, online forums, and other sources. Analyzing OSINT data can provide insight into cyber criminal tactic and vulnerabilities, which can help with proactive threat mitigation. So just go through this point. Is there any confusion here?
No, it's pretty clear.
Clear, right? Anybody? Anything else?
No.
No.
Okay. So I just wanted to show a video. Pardon? Yeah. Hello?
TI.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to show a video to everybody. Just tell me if the audio is okay.
Hey Serena. Yeah.
Can everybody hear this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey Serena. Yeah. What you got in your bag? It's my new heels for graduation. Good morning, guys. Guess what day it is? It's my birthday. Huh? Where are these charges coming from? Hey Serena. Yeah. What you got in your
Okay. So have you seen this video before? Anybody have seen
Yes,
this
many
video
times.
before?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it will be. This is a pretty common video, but still a very important one. So this is how, again, this was used by an attacker to target you. Again, this kind of information can be used to protect you also. This is just a simple example on how open source intelligence can be used, not exactly the purpose here, but this is for a offensive reason. But what we are doing is a defensive reason. If imagine it's a company, okay, your company have somebody have mentioned something about your company in the social media. They would have leaked some data in the social media, and if it goes further wide, it might create a further damage. So as an analyst, you need to go through such social media things, and then I didn't understand that this can create a problem, take down the post, report it to the legal team, or take the necessary action. So all these kind of things comes under threat intelligence. Another primary thing which we can say is we were talking about brand reputation, right? This fraudulent domains. Anybody know this? What is a fraudulent domain?
Like
These are the
impersonate,
domains close to the real domains, like Google,
kind of data.
OLE.
Yeah. So imagine it is Citibank. So it is CITI. Imagine instead of I, you are putting a small letter L. So again, it will be read as CITI. That is a typo squatting. It is not a typo squatting. You're creating fraudulent domain. And then you're telling that I am the bank. You do your transaction through here. And they are collecting your data. They're collecting your password through that fraudulent domain. So such kind of domains, such kind of things can create a huge damage to your organization because they are impersonating you. They're impersonating your identity or your company's identity. Or you can, this is one case. So such kind of things should be identified. Again, if you're coming to social media, somebody is created a profile saying that I am the CEO of the company. So imagine you are the CEO of a company and somebody else have created, why CEO of the company? We know this thing, right? People will create fake Facebook accounts saying that that's you, and then ask to your friends that give me some money. So this kind of frauds are very common, very, very common. So that is known as impersonation. So all these kind of things should be collected. These all are intelligence. There are different type of intelligence. We were talking about attackers type of intelligence, their cyber attack kind of intelligence, that core technical things are also there. This kind of generally day-to-day happening things are also there. All these kind of things are intelligence. So use this intelligence to protect your infra, your environment. So that is something, again, open source intelligence. I think this is pretty much clear here. I want to give you one more example. Yeah, let me see where it was. How many of you have heard about this guy, Pop Smoke?
No. Not heard.
He was a rapper and he was pretty famous. So what happened is, this is back in 2020, where this person died. He died like he was having some vacation in a resort and something, and one intruder came and he was shot, and then he died just like that. He was around 19, 20. That's it. That's it. So how this person died was, for a cybersecurity person, it was something which is very curious thing. So I'll show you. I'll just read it out here. Um, was Pop Smoke's address leaked online? What happened was, he and his friends were having some party and they posted photos of some luxury items which with so much money and so many other things as such, and then they posted their information. We do, right? We always put some post or the other. We will put it on Insta, put it on Snapchat, so all these kind of things. What happened here was, see, Pop Smoke had posted photos on social media showing large amount of money, designer goods, luxury car, and his friend, he posted something with a home address, which can be partially seen in the background. So he posted a story on Instagram and Facebook, all these kind of things you can see here. So somebody who understood that targeted them, and then the person was killed. So this is again some of the offensive activity which was done. So this is how your information can be used for what? Malicious activity. So collecting all such information, whatever is available, and then use it to protect your organization. That is how we can use it as a threat intelligence analyst side, as a defensive security side. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So any questions so far?
No.
Okay, now let's dive into some of the common other open source intelligences. So one is geospatial, geographical based intelligence. So let me give you again an example. I said, right, if you're an organization based out of India, or anything, we are hearing there are so many wars happening around. Okay, imagine COVID-19 was just only happening in China. It was only happening in China. And when people know that COVID-19 is happening in China, there might be so many campaigns, so many awareness, this thing, that thing, so many things will be going on. So from an attacker point of view, uh, they can create some phishing or some kind of malicious payload and give to people in China, telling that this is a legitimate source, and people there will trust it because there are a lot of campaigns going on, lot of things going on. So when all these kind of things happen, they will automatically trust the source, and then maybe not by giving much thought into it, they might fall trap for that. So what I'm trying to say is, based on your geographical area, if you are based out of India, check for intelligence which are based out of India mostly, or what you can say, based on the geolocation where your business is located. So war is happening. So if you have Russian Ukraine war happened. So if you have businesses in that area, attackers can target the weak points. So understanding the geography and understanding that, and according to that collecting the intelligence, is known as GeoNet. So for this we can use what satellite infrastructure, all these kind of things can be utilized. Yeah, that is on geospatial. This is CyberOSINT. I think we are pretty much familiar with CyberOSINT. What is network traffic analysis? What do we do? I talked about IOC, right? So what is network traffic analysis here? Hello?
Like firewalls, IDS, IPS.
Every one of you did this whole SOC training, right? So this will be one of the primary part we do there. Network traffic analysis. Okay.
The whole
No, we are
training is
not done.
DDoS, it
IP
will come
address,
network traffic
source and
analysis.
destinations. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, DDoS
DOS and
is
DDoS, ransomware.
okay. So whatever is the network, so we can collect and identify information from that. See, you imagine there is an attack going on in your company. That is the first time that attack is happening globally in your company. And you're the first person who is going to identify that. And you identify that attack, you understood that some communication is happening to some suspicious IP, and you got that intelligence, right? You can also be that intelligence provider there. Understanding. So once you get that intelligence, there are multiple tools, like multiple platforms where you can share it back to the community. You can, there is a open source platform known as MISP. So this platform and all, we can give input from our end to them, saying that this is the particular IOC observed from our end. So that if the attacker is targeting any other infra and you already have given the reference that this particular IOC or this particular IP or hash is causing a problem, is causing an attack, they can be prevented. So you can also be a source of intelligence. Again, another thing, exploit kit. So monitoring and distribution of exploit kit in cyber attack. What is an exploit kit? We in the SOC course we have studied about vulnerability management, right? Have we studied about vulnerability management, CVEs and everything?
No.
Oh, it was not covered. Anybody is aware about any CVE ID, the vulnerability which is having a CVE ID?
Vulnerability management, we have given video of Nessus vulnerability management.
Okay, Nessus. So what is Nessus identifying there?
Any type of vulnerability like which can be a risk to our system or
Basically,
organization.
So you would have seen a number saying CVE 2024, some number, CVE 2022, like that, some numbers you would have seen, right? Nobody noticed?
Yes, there are some
Yes,
numbers in
yes.
CV.
So these are the naming given to that particular vulnerability. Okay, so imagine an attacker found a vulnerability in your somebody found a vulnerability in your infra or on a particular asset device or any asset. They found a particular vulnerability, and there is a how to exploit that vulnerability is also publicly available. Now that vulnerability is more critical. If you just know that vulnerability exists and you don't know how to exploit that vulnerability, then it is a different case. You still have time to defend it, but if the exploit to that particular vulnerability is publicly available, then you should be more careful. So such when you're in your infra, when you have a lot of assets in your infra, from that asset, how will you prioritize what is more important? What vulnerability is more important to your infra? So you will you said you will have Nessus scan, you have all these kind of things. What will a Nessus scan give? What is the output of a Nessus scan?
Nessus can give scores about our vulnerability, which can be mostly harmful for our organization, like that, like ports or patches, OS vulnerability.
Okay.
basically it scan everything like ports and network, IPs, everything that try to find the vulnerabilities among them. That's the work of Nessus too.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, think that your Nessus scan, you have done network scan for around
We
100
don't know
devices.
what it is.
Pardon?
We don't know what it is.
What is vulnerability scanner?
Yeah.
It was not covered before, or
No, it is not covered yet.
Okay, so
Not
I saw it in the syllabus, so I thought it was covered. My mistake. Okay, so vulnerability scanner is nothing but if you have a lot of assets in your organization, right? So this is a scanner which scans through the. Imagine you have a Windows 10 machine, Windows 10 or Windows 7 or whatever machine. So a vulnerability scanner will scan your machine, understand what all are the vulnerabilities for that particular version or that particular OS, and then give you the vulnerability. That these are the existing vulnerabilities, you need to patch it or you need to fix it somehow. So this is a small overview if you are talking about the vulnerability scanner. This is what they do. So in a bigger organization, what will happen? There will be a lot of devices. It's not one or two. It will be in hundreds, thousands, or much more than that. So you will do the scan, then you will get the report telling that these vulnerabilities are there in your infra. Now, how do you prioritize this? How do you prioritize which one should be patched first, which one should be more important, which need to get the more priority? So one key factor which decides somebody mentioned about the score, right? Score is one thing. Along with that, exploit kit is another thing. So if the exploit for that particular vulnerability is publicly available, it should be treated with high priority because it is publicly available. Anybody can use to get into your system. Huh? Hello? Yeah. Okay. So that is the exploit kit. Then again, phishing campaigns. I think this is pretty much everybody know. Somebody please explain me what is a phishing campaign.
We will educate the users.
That
Phishing
is
campaign is like, ma'am, ki awareing about ki don't click on the suspicious links, so that your credential may be used by the hacker. But these are the like they spread awareness about how the hacker works.
yeah. Yeah. So phishing campaigns, see, sometimes we bulkly get SMS, right? From one person would have sent bulkly to so many people. So phishing campaigns are like
No click
awareness
boss.
is one side. This is like some particular attacker group is targeting all the organization or 100 people in the same organization and sending the same email across multiple organization or the same multiple employees. They're like a campaign they are doing, like continuously they're creating the same kind of way or like in a bulk way they are doing. So if we can identify such bulk way, what there will be so many practical examples which are happening maybe in our big billion days of Flipkart. Okay, so during big billion days or Amazon in Great Indian Festival, this kind of times, what will happen? You might have received so many things saying that spin the wheel, you will get it. Spin the wheel, you will get that reward, this reward, this kind of things will come in bulk. So when you and then there will be some URL, share it with your friends. We have seen it, right? Most of us would have got that email or SMS or whatever it is. You have not have anybody got that spin the wheel?
Yes, yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Like
Yeah,
a
right.
Amazon
multiple
or
50 or 100 of
people will get
SMS you got.
goodies,
Yeah.
something like that. We will get in the festive time, offers time.
That's what offer time. So this kind of campaigns they will run. The attackers will run such kind of campaigns, and it will be easier target that time because everybody know okay Amazon is doing this thing. So such kind of campaigns should be identified. Such attackers, what are their methodology? What are they targeting? What are the URLs they are using? So all these kind of intelligence again will be collected, and then you can use it for defending side. You can collect these things. Tell your organization if this kind of things come, block it or take it in as a reaction. Put it under observation. Put it under quarantine. So all these kind of things can be done using phishing campaigns. Clear till here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
There are different type of OSINT. I just covered 3-4 areas. So another one is domain and IP OSINT. Okay. Anybody know what is whois data?
Before
Whois?
going to that, I have a small doubt. So
Okay.
vulnerability scans only gets the information about OS or any other things in the infra?
Other things also. There are different type of vulnerability scanner. So depending on that, we can give.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Anything else? Any other doubt?
Can you explain again IOC?
No.
IOC?
Yes.
Okay. So IOC is indicator of compromise. So in a simple example, if you're saying, we mentioned, right, that in the robbery case, targeting gold, targeting after coming after midnight, or targeting a particular lock. So that token of intelligence is known as IOC. So in a cyber attack basis, if you're talking, the IP, the tool set, the hashes, the domains, the email address. So any token of intelligence, any token of what do you say, a data, any data token which is used by the attacker to carry on that attack is known as intelligence. It can be a file, the malware file which they use, the hash of that malware file can be a token of intelligence. So that is an IOC, indicator of compromise. Compromise happened. Any indicator which showing us that compromise happened is known as IOC. So we can use that, use it in our SIM and everything, and then use it. Is that clear?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Okay. Now tell me, what is Whois? What is Whois reputation? Whois data? Anybody used Whois information?
Yeah. When we actually register a domain, they have all the domain owners' informations.
Correct.
The whose data.
So there are so many open source tools which will give you what is Whois data, domain tools, Whois itself, like that. So many tools are there. If you want to just go to Google and search for Whois, then you will get different tools. Open so MX toolbox. So many tools will give you data on that particular domain. So I said about fraudulent domain, right? So when you are creating a fraudulent domain, you can go and see who registered this, when it was registered. Is there any other relevant data which will give you that this is a fraudulent domain or a suspicious domain. So Whois data is something which will give you more information about that particular domain, the ownership of the domain, does it have a valid certificate, when it get expired. So all these kind of things will be given in the Whois data. So again, this is publicly available. There are a lot of open source tools available, websites available. I think we are aware about IP void, VirusTotal, etc. Right?
No.
Yes.
You should be aware about VirusTotal, IP void, etc. Because as a SOC analyst, this will be one of the primary tool which we will be using. We have to check for reputation and everything, right? So yeah, like that. For Whois data also, there are a lot of tools which will give you information on the domain. Again, IP reputation. IP reputation. Yeah, just now I mentioned what is IP reputation. So all these kind of things we will be getting. There are multiple abuse IPDB. What else? IP void. MX toolbox, so many tools are there. Anywhere you go and bulk URL, so many tools are there. As a SOC analyst, we will get used to this. We will have to use it in our day-to-day basis to identify what is it a suspicious domain? Is it a suspicious IP? All these kind of things. Again, passive DNS. So DNS also can be checked. There are so many Google Dig, this kind of places where you can get information on DNS text records, SPF, DMARC, so I'm not going into much technical detail into that, but all these things also can be observed from. There are different open source tools which will give you this kind of informations. Moving on. Yeah, social media OSINT. So this is pretty clear, I guess. Any confusion here? Yeah, monitoring threat actor. Let me say, these threat actors, most of the threat actors do it for a thrill. Some people do it for monetary reasons. Some people can use it for political reasons. Some people can use it for thrill. Their thrill that I have conquered this. The thrill is also again another factor. So sometimes what happens is there will be Twitter accounts, Telegram accounts, all these kind of things where the attacker or the hacker will talk to the community. There are sometimes there where they will mention like I am going to hack this thing. There was one case where anonymous Sudan, one attacker group, they were saying that we will hack Dubai airport within this much time, or no, Dubai airport was already hacked and they were challenging some other organization or something in Dubai. So people like to boast a lot, people like to leak information, or it can be another way that somebody who was within that hacker group would have come out and leaked information about them. So any kind of such kind of information can be available in the here. So monitoring the threat actor. So tracking social media account associated with the non-threat actor or groups. So this is one area. Telegram, Twitter is mostly the common area where they will share some kind of information not always the same. Any kind of information about them will be shared in this kind of areas. So monitoring them will give more insight on what to be protected. If somebody is coming and tell you India will be hacked, Indian banks will be hacked, then if you are an Indian bank, take the precaution. Understand the group better. Understand what are their motive, what are they trying to do, what are their modus operandi, what are the technique they are using. So all these things you should understand and build a defensive program for your organization. So that is how we monitor threat actors using social media. Then sentiment analysis. Sentiment analysis, nothing but what you can say, in stock market and all goes up and down and all these kind of things, right? I'm not just talking about stock. I mean stock. It's like what depending on the sentiment of the people, it can be of political reasons. I believe one time that PETA, that animal cruelty website was taken down because of some incident happened in Kerala or something. So there are people with political reasons who doesn't like something, or any political reasons that I don't like this, so I want to take that particular website down, I want to create shame to them. So this sentiment based things also can happen. So if somebody is talking very bad about your organization, it can be religious, it can be political, or it can be anything, and then you know that things people are turning against you, you need to protect your infra. So sentiment based analysis also happens here. So all these kind of things you need to check. Again, incident reporting, identifying report and security incident and breaches. Okay, incident reporting I'm not going into depth. As a SOC analyst, I believe people are aware about it. So these are some of the area, in a very simple way, some of the area where we can collect and build a defensive mechanism. See, intelligence is not as simple as this. I'm just going through the simplest terms here, because once we get into the technical and this kind of things, when we go through the MITRE framework, MITRE attack, how it can be used, it's much more complicated than in a simple terms. But also intelligence which are publicly available, publicly accessible, can also be used to protect your infra. So is this clear till here? My OSINT topic is finishing here. So just tell me any questions so far.
Ma'am, there is a question. What is difference between pen testing and threat hunting?
Pen testing and threat hunting. Okay. So you heard about threat hunting, right? I repeated 2 times. Is that point clear?
Yes.
Hello, ma'am.
Okay.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Ma'am, where we can study about this attack, what all over the world attacks are happening, there will be some blog websites, right?
Yeah. Okay, so there are so many open source websites like that. Bleeping Computer, Hacker News, Dark Web Reading, like that. So many websites are there. Just go to ChatGPT or somewhere, or just simply search for latest cybersecurity news. You will get multiple websites which will give. Also, this vendor websites, right? Vendor Palo Alto or Sentinel one or whichever it is. This vendor websites, they will also release certain newsletters regarding to this.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So penetration testing versus this thing, it's bit out of the topic, but okay. Penetration testing is it's an authorized way that how can we say, somebody is asking you to hack their environment. That is penetration testing. Check if there is a hacker inside your environment, what are the loopholes which they can do. They will have multiple exploit tools, exploit things, and then they will hack it, they will exploit it and find it. They are doing the exploitation there. Understanding? So in a penetration tester, they are exploiting the particular vulnerability or that whatever is the weakness there, they are exploiting and then identifying.
It's like how much the damage can penetrate the system.
Yeah, exactly. How much it can exploit and how much of information can they get from there. So they're exploiting that system and then getting the information. That is penetration testing. In hunting, we are just checking for traces. You're checking for traces that is there the presence of an attacker there. We are not going and exploiting anything there. Understanding? That is the difference. So we need to understand all this basic terminologies there. So PT is something which is offensive side. You are exploiting with the permission. Again, what is the difference between hacking and penetration testing? Permission is the difference. The permission to do that is the difference between hacking and the penetration testing. So is that part clear?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
The honeyspot will be come under the pen
Can
testing.
you avoid these questions for the last, please?
Okay. Yeah, honeypot. Okay, then I'll honeypot is again some kind of, yeah, honeypot again can be, oh yeah, honeypot can be used for intelligence as well. What is a honeypot? Anybody know what is a honeypot?
Not exactly, ma'am.
Anybody know,
Being
yeah.
Including someone physically, like sending him his photos, like army men are means scrolling social media of a girl's account, but he's not actually a girl, and giving him information about our organization.
Honeypot is nothing but your okay. You
It's sort
can
of a trap.
it's a
honey
trap. It's a trap.
It's a
Yeah,
trap, right?
in a way, okay. Yeah. You can think about it as a trap completely. You just gave a specific example, but you can think of it as a trap. One trap
It's
you mentioned.
creating a virtual, the false
Virtual environment. So
environment.
if it is an organization, you are suddenly going and saying, I have a web server which have with no protection. So like no WAF is there, no nothing is there. You can perform SQL injection, you can perform any web application attack. The hacker will be so happy. They'll come and they'll try and, my God, I can get into the organization. I got into the organization, but it is actually a trap. We the organization itself have created a virtual environment for the people to think that they came into a real environment and they are performing their attack there. So honeypot is a one system. Honeynet is a collection of a network of such system. And imagine you're an attacker and you're performing, you're giving away your methodology, your tools, your attacking patterns in that honeynet. And this logs can be used by whom? SOC analyst or investigation analyst to get their pattern, to get the intelligence on how the attack is happening, and then use it for your defense mechanism. Is that clear? Again, honeynet, very good. It was brought up. So honeypot and honeynet can also be used for collecting intelligence. Clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think that part is over. So we will move into types of intelligence. Okay. So if you're in an organization, we need to be aware about all this type of threat intelligence. So there are 4 type of threat intelligence. So first one will be strategic threat intelligence. So strategic threat intelligence is nothing but, I told you, right? What is a cybersecurity place? It's a cost center actually. So when you're doing all these things, you need to inform to your higher management, because ultimately you have to tell your business that cybersecurity team is protecting these things. We are recovering. If you are, we mentioned about creating reports, no? In SOC reports we created. What are these reports for? Somebody please answer.
It's all about how our defensive system is.
Yeah, and how our defensive system is, we will give statistics. We will say that we got attacked from this top 10 IPs, from this top 10 regions, or highly, like what we can say, port scan was the top triggered rule which happened. So all these kind of things will come as a report, correct? So again, there are multiple type of reports here. So one which is known as strategic. So you can read it here, high level information on changing risk. This is for high level executive management. So this what will happen. You are telling your management that these are the risk and this is the thing. And you are going to tell your management that, okay, from this log source that is happening, this is happening, this kind of technical detail. Will they be interested? They are not interested, because they are very busy people in their very busy schedule, and they don't want to get that teeny bit of information, that small information. They don't want. What they want is what? They want statistics. They want to see graphs, reports in a statistical order, that this much percentage of people are getting attacked. We prevented that from happening. So such kind of high level reports can be used for that. Reports are known as strategic report. Okay. Then what? Next one is tactical threat intelligence. So these are tactical threat intelligence is nothing but TTP. Tactic, technique, and procedure. So this is a common term from MITRE. So this is a complete separate topic I need to begin with, but just understand these are the methodologies, the techniques and tactics used by the attacker group.
Basically, yeah, techniques that used by the attackers.
Yeah, so this kind of information will be TTPs is one of the core area. I will if there's one more class, we can get into that. But yeah, this information of TTPs used by the attacker, this will be more detailed one. This will be given to whom? SOC managers, administrators. So such kind of people, we will be given the bigger picture of it. Okay. So for example, we can say how a phishing email is crafted and what kind of malware they are delivering, like in a generic overview, like like little bit more a higher overview, that it will be okay. Then what? Then comes the operational threat intelligence. So in operational threat intelligence, it will help you identify information on specific details. That specific details on how to respond on an ongoing attack or the immediate threat, like in a smaller level. Like it's a if this particular methodology is going on, what can I say? Active port scanning is going on, or any persistence mechanism is going on. So that concentrate into that. This is the highly active method of exploitation going on. Concentrate on that. That short-term use. So that is something which is there. So this will be for the security manager, network defender against, etc. It will be used by incident response team. Yeah, IOCs I mentioned, right? So that token of intelligence. IOCs can be changed later on. So like I mentioned, I think everybody's clear on IOCs here. So that IP address, we are just taking an IP address which was used for an attack, right? So that IP address can be changed. Today, if I'm using one IP address, attacker can use it like maybe in 2 weeks later, he might be changing the IP address. But for that immediate purpose, that IP address is the key component which can be helped to identify the attack or whatever it is there. So that is the operational threat intelligence. It helps for the immediate response of the for any ongoing attack or so and so. Okay, then the technical threat intelligence. This is the basic level. Again, IOCs will come into picture here. It'll give you the information required for the SOC analyst to particularly defend that thing. Like in a very technical level, it will be provided. Even IOCs also belongs here, and then any pattern of attack, you observe certain patterns, certain behavior from users. So such kind of technical details, which SOC staff will be the primary person who will be analyzing all these things, right? So whatever information will be given to them, that will be that technical details. So this in an organization, if you're talking, depends. Not everybody needs all the reports. So the technical report will be very important for the SOC analyst. Strategic report will be very important for the very high level. Tactical and operation can go interchangeable, like in a generic way, because as a SOC team, we'll need everything all together, right? So this is a general theoretical way of classification of threat intelligence, types of threat intelligence, and their reporting methodologies. So is this clear?
Yes, sir.
There is nothing much into it, but I think, yeah, clear, right? Any terminology, anything confusion or anything?
Is that can be asked in interviews?
This question will be asked in interview. Yeah. Yes. Definitely. If you are going into specific threat intelligence role or something like that, threat intelligence is a booming field. Earlier, people were not aware about what do you say, that threat intelligence have this much capability and this much scope of doing things. So again, see, once an attack happened, and if you couldn't respond on time, like as an analyst, yes, but again, analysis take time. Analysis and all this, even if the analysis you found it on correct time, as a SOC analyst, you found everything on correct time, you reported it to them, but the person who was supposed to take the action is on leave, or any if you're identifying a vulnerability or any kind of action, you couldn't mitigate it on time. If you couldn't mitigate it on time, then what will happen? Then the damage is more. Then that is why we came to the concept of threat intelligence came into picture. And then I think maybe in the last 8-9 years, this came in more booming way. And this became a complete separate domain. I said, right, initially it was with the SOC team. SOC team used to do everything. Now it became like a separate component, and you have threat intelligence team along with the SOC team. So depending on whichever field you like, you want to move ahead, this can be a primary question. I have received these questions in multiple interviews. So yeah, good to study for interviews and everything. Yeah, that is all on types of threat intelligence. Next, we will go on threat intelligence life cycle.
Ma'am, they asked in a long way, or we can give in an interview in a short.
It's up to you. If
Like
you know the concept, you give it in your own way. Like whatever is fine. That's why I said in this part, this technical thing and strategy thing. Remember the strategic part, because other things you can see it is kind of it's a little bit similar here and there. It's on the attackers, bigger motive, specifics on the attack, IOCs, all this kind of stuff. But strategic is always for the higher management, and it will be in a, what do you say, statistics, and in a understandable, easily readable and understandable format for the business people. That is a difference. So yeah, just keep this in mind. It will be very useful. This is again, if you're going for an interview or something, this is again one of the main questions: threat intelligence life cycle. We will have incident response, not plan. What is that? Life cycle will be there, right? Remediation, mitigation, that kind of stuff. Just like that, intelligence also have a life cycle. Yeah. Any other questions? I mean, before I start to this.
No, everything's clear.
None, ma'am.
Okay. So life cycle, first step is planning and direction. Let me just explain it with an example, then it will be more understandable. First, the planning and direction, or understand what is the requirement. Your company want to know what are the emerging threats happening, or what you can say, who are the top 10 attacker group who is targeting your organization. Correct. So that is the requirement for your company. Understood? What is the requirement? Requirement is your company, your manager, or even top of that, people are asking you, can you say, SOCTIP, can you please identify who are the top 10 attackers who are targeting our company? Okay, so that is the requirement here. So align your cybersecurity plan to your business objective by understanding the organization's risk exposure and attack surface. Okay, don't read into that. Just I'll give a brief. So understand what is the requirement here. Okay, that is the first, planning and direction. Then second thing, collection. Now you got the requirement. Now we are going and collecting whatever is happening. Okay, so since our requirement here is what, understand how many threat actors are there, or the top 10 threat actor. You can collect data from multiple sources. You can go in like OSINT searches will be there, or license tools if you have, or if you are coming across any IOCs which is hitting your organization and you identified that IOC belong to any threat actor group, or any such way, you're collecting so many information on multiple threat actors. So much of data you got. This thing, that thing, attacks happening all across the world, in Russia, in India, in China. So all these kind of things in Israel. So all these kind of attacker groups and names and everything you collected and you have kept it. So that is the collection. So you gathered all the data, right? Then what happened? Then comes the processing. Okay. So in the processing, you are organizing that data according to your requirement. So you would have got IOCs, you would have got so many things, you would have got some methodologies, some threat vectors, all these kind of things. Out of that, you are categorizing and identifying the top threat actor list, not the top 10, the threat actor list. So you processed your data, whatever data you have, you gathered it, you filled it out, everything, and you filtered it out in such a way, organized it. You can say in another way, you organize the data. That is known as processing. Now comes the analysis part. Now what is analysis? Out of all the data, what do you want? You want the data which is relevant for your company, right? So again, think you're a company, Indian bank, you are an Indian bank. So the attacker groups which are targeting India, that can be a primary factor. Which are targeting bank, that can be another factor, or they're targeting any particular vulnerability or any asset, any such kind of things, and you have that asset as a primary asset, critical asset in your infra. Financial motivated attacker groups. So all this kind of parameters you will collect and then check. Create a checklist and check, is this the things which this particular threat actor group is doing? Understanding that particular attacker group is targeting these things. Based on that, you can prioritize which is the one, which is not the one. So you are again filtering it out, you are analyzing what is your requirement, and with that, whatever data you have got, you correlate, you understand what is the requirement, and then create a chart of top 10 threat actors or whatever it is. Understand the behavior, understand their patterns, understand is that relevant to you, validate all the informations available, and then create a top 10 list. Then what? Then we will give it for, we will take the action, we will use it in a SIM, SOAR or everything, and then get the feedback of it. Like you also have to get the feedback, right? Like if this is the threat actor and this is relevant for your company, so you should be protected against that. So whatever is it, you put it in your SIM, you put it in your SOAR or a threat intelligence platform or wherever required. You understand, set the rules, set the what protection, defense mechanism and everything. That is the action, and then based on that, take the feedback. So this is a generic, simple explanation of the cycle. So the terminologies can change different to different. That instead of planning and direction, you can say it like what do you say, requirement collection, then what processing. So all these terminologies can change slightly. That is happening with all the life cycles and everything. But understand the overall methodology. You're defining the requirement, you're collecting everything, then you're processing the data, then you're analyzing and validating based on what is required, and then you take the action. So this is an overall threat intelligence life cycle. Is this clear?
Ma'am, can you explain processing?
Processing.
Yeah.
It's see, if you're talking in a okay, simple format, leave threat intelligence life cycle. I'll tell you. When in a SIM, how do we get the data? You know what is parsing? Parsing would have done, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So the raw data, have you all seen what is a raw data? Any raw data? Have anybody seen how a raw data looks like?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raw
Yeah.
data will be so confusing. It will be like
Yes,
some
data.
huge thing which you can't like, it's not readable. Like it can be readable, but it takes a lot of time consuming and everything to identify what is what. Okay. So but if you once you parse it, what it will divide it and give you in field, source IP, destination IP, or whatever it is. So that is another way of saying processing. So I'm not giving a literal example here. Based on what is your requirement, see what they have written: gathering context and technical data, threat actor database, MITRE-ATT&CK integration, and engage integration. Based on your requirement, it varies from requirement to requirement. Based on your requirement, you're processing the data, you're categorizing the data. When you're searching for a threat actor group, you might not only get the threat actor group, you will get some methodologies, you will get some top threat vectors or some IOCs. So much of data you will get from here and there. So correlating it and understanding what is what and processing that data for a what do you say, good input. That is processing. All clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else?
So what is TIP in between SIM and SOAR? There is something TIP.
TIP is threat intelligence platform.
Okay.
That we have tools for threat intelligence feeds, which will give you all IOCs and all this kind of thing. Threat intelligence platform is a platform where you can integrate these feeds with the SIMs or all these kind of things. That is the TIP, threat intelligence platform. Anything else?
All good.
Oh, okay. So that are few things. Till here, concept is clear. I mean, at least a basic understanding of what is threat intelligence is clear to everybody.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
If somebody asks you what is threat intelligence, can you answer like at least the basic of it? Okay, I hope it's clear. Then we'll move ahead. Okay, why threat intelligence is important? I was talking about it only all this time. Can anybody tell me why threat intelligence is important?
Prevent the threat before it attacks the
To
organization.
know exactly what, who, and when we will get any attacks or anything.
To secure from future threat.
Okay, what else?
To secure our data.
Everything. So it's a proactive approach, right? It's a proactive threat identification and mitigation approach, or you can call it as an early warning sign. It's an early warning sign before something is happening. So that is why threat intelligence is important. So yeah, what is happening here? Proactive threat identification and mitigation. I think that point is okay. Then informed decision making. Correct, no? So you like I said, we gave an example, right? Threat actor group is trying to target to buy-based organizations. So you know something is coming up. Better be prepared. So informed decision making. You can tell your higher management, see, this is something going to happen, or any negative sentiment. You know that this particular political party is trying to come against you, or any particular group have some grudge on you. So informed, you know, beforehand only informed decision making. Then another point, enhanced incident response. Why enhanced incident response? How can threat intelligence help in enhanced incident response? Can anybody tell me?
If we are getting an intelligence that this thing will be attacked, then we can prevent beforehand.
Okay, that is prevention. But what is incident response? Incident response means already an incident happened and then you're responding to it. How it will help in incident response here?
Ma'am, if we
By
already
prioritizing.
aware about that, we can simply respond.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Isolate that particular system from the network.
What from the what system from the network?
No, I think we will get the enough information from threat intelligence in this case.
Okay, but attack already happened, right? Now what? Anyway, that attack is happening. We said it is for prevention.
If we know the threat actor, so we can make our strategy.
If attack happens, any device compromised, then that device compromised device isolate from the network.
But isolating that device from the network, how threat intelligence is coming here? Isolate. Okay, that is the response, which action which you're taking for that particular incident. But yeah.
Maybe
by prioritizing the threat.
One person,
it
please.
shouldn't happen in future in the same way. In that case, we can use the threat intelligence. If we get the, if somebody attacks by using brute force, for example, so we can, we can prevent that in future.
But that is again incident response life cycle. At the end, we'll say lessons learned. So that in future we can use, but it's not exactly threat intelligence work here. Any other points?
Threat intelligence would work like the severity of the threat. It would prioritize the by the severity of the threat.
Okay. Yeah, severity of the threat. Okay, let me give an example here. You are analyzing an alert. Imagine an outbound communication from your network. You know what is an outbound communication, right? Suspicious outbound communication is a use case. Okay, so from your internal network, you are seeing some kind of suspicious activity. Some internal network is communicating to some suspicious IP out in the public. So we can identify what is a suspicious IP, all these kind of things. Okay, it might be an IOC provided by the threat intelligence feed, or it might not be an IOC given. So in case if it is an IOC, you got that particular IP, you are going to the threat intelligence platform or using advanced Google search or something, you're searching that particular IP over the internet. And then you are finding this IP was used by some attacker group for their some kind of attack. Now you understand, if while reading that attack, you will understand, okay, this is what is happening in my company also. And maybe it is an ongoing attack and you would have identified only a small part of it. Okay, you are only identifying one small bit of it and you don't know what is the whole picture of it. Here, threat intelligence can help you give a bigger picture. They will tell you, okay, if you are finding this IP, check for other parameters. This is the attacker group's methodology. Check for that thing. Are you observing that thing also in your infra? That if you are seeing any suspicious communication, they're saying they will be using this particular port for that CNC communication or command and control communication. So if you're getting one point, the intelligence will help you enhance your knowledge on that particular incident response, or that particular analysis, and it will give you more insight on what is happening. Like I said, see, as our technologies are improving, hackers are also improving their skills in that level. So what happening here is you should be capable enough to identify them. Obviously, they are trying to bypass our system. Yes or no? They will try to bypass your security measures to get into the system. They might be successful to an extent, and your incident response or your SIM would have caught a small piece of it. You don't know the bigger picture. In such cases, like I said, intelligence will give you a bigger picture to understand. This might be a part. You go check these things, or put this defense mechanism in place so that if it is a starting of an incident, catch it or stop it. If you missed out anything, prevent it. So defense in depth is another concept which comes here. Like somewhere we should capture it. If not here, then the other place. Before it creates a further damage, we should be capturing. For this, again, intelligence is important. That is why it is mentioned enhanced incident response. Is that point clear? Or confusion is there?
Bit confusing.
Can you briefly explain one more time?
Okay. Okay. So understanding the difference between incident response, right? What is incident response? Incident happens. Incident already happened. It happened. They are inside your network. Okay. So they are inside your network. Now what? Cyber kill chain. We talked about cyber kill chain. Okay. So
Damage
once they are,
control.
yeah, kind of a damage control. Yes, damage control can be done using threat intelligence here. So in that cyber kill chain, attacker came, they are inside your infra, they will do something for persistence, then they will do what? Lateral movement. Are you people aware about these terminologies? Lateral movement, elevate, privilege escalation, all these kind of things?
No.
MITRE.
No.
Yes.
Not MITRE exactly. Okay.
Yes.
Hmm.
Ransomware.
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is we might have caught that particular attack in between or something. It might be an ongoing attack. It might be like what do you say, that phishing already happened, the user already clicked the link, and then the system might have, that particular user system would have compromised, and then that user system is trying to communicate with the attacker, and then attacker is trying to enlarge its space. It's trying to move around the network. So you might have caught it in the middle. You might have caught it when the only one user is compromised, and then you just saw one alert. Your maybe your email platform didn't capture it, or your EDR didn't capture that malware file. Only thing which captured was SIM, which captured that outbound traffic. Okay. Now, if you're putting that outbound traffic to that some suspicious IP, if you're taking that IP and checking, like in the Google or in your intelligence threat intelligence tool or somewhere, and you're again finding that what this is a part of a already existing scheme. This particular attacker group, like APT29 or Logbit, you have heard, right? Logbit, this kind of very common attacker ransomware groups are there. Not just ransomware, anything. So this IP is used by this particular attacker group, and this is their methodology. So once you get to know their methodology, what they're targeting to get, then you can enhance your incident response. You can check, is this things happening? Is this really happening? And then check the entry point or check for the defense, or all these kind of things can be done. This is incident response, enhanced incident response. Is it clear? I mean, yeah, it have a lot of things. You need to have more, you need to have some hands-on, and then you will understand it. But I think the basic, is it okay with the basic?
Like, I think if it is already, they are attacking the other company, for suppose, so I think we will get the inputs, by, that the thing you are saying, like it's already happened somewhere, and it's happening in our company also, and we are trying to capture the information early.
Okay, I think it's a little bit more.
About,
Maybe in the further sessions, I will give more explanation, because I need to give one explanation, more topics for. But okay, understand.
Okay.
It will help you in your instant response. Like it will give more further insight on what is happening. If you are really getting a true positive incident. See, as a SOC analyst, I'll tell you, 95% of times it will be false positive. Rest 5% only true positive alerts will come. It's a general practice anywhere that it depends upon us. Like there will be a lot of anomalies or any rules which are triggering. So it's up to us to identify which is real and which is not. So the true positive alerts, when it comes, we need to identify. That is the primary responsibility of SOC analyst, and respond to that. So in that, it will help in enhancing. Okay, I think in further classes, I can give one more insight on this, but okay. Then again, collaboration and knowledge sharing. I said, right, if it is, you can give it back to the community. If you are the researcher, you identify something suspicious, you can give it back to the community, saying that these things are there, be aware. Collaboration and knowledge sharing. Again, cost-effective security management. It will help. See, again, prevention is better than cure. So it will help. What do you say? There are a lot of OSINT tools. You don't need to purchase. Depending on the requirement, you might not have to purchase any costly tools for that. Open source intelligence is almost cover a lot of things, so it is cost effective. Again, strategic advantage and competitive edge. Okay, your business will be in a very good competitive edge. So that is why some few points why threat intelligence is important. These are some practical use cases. So I think you would have understood. So some IOC detections and everything will be there. system vulnerabilities and understanding your assets, understanding your organization's critical resources, understanding what is critical, what is not critical, patch it, understand zero-day vulnerabilities. So all these kind of things reduce the risk of successful attack. I said, right, early warning system. So all these kind of things can be some of the practical use cases. Identifies malware. Update on again malware files. We have the hashes, we have the everything, understand the malware. So all these parts are again practical use cases. Monitor attacker activities under infrastructure. We said, right, that social media attacking, I mean social media following of the attacker, not just that, anything. If imagine a logbit gang, so they are targeting something, some company, they're ransomware as a service. They provide ransomware as a service to the other clients. So if you observe their activity, we'll understand a lot about their behavior. So such kind of thing, monitoring attacker activity. Then TTPs is another one. Then what? Based on all these things, create security policies, defense mechanism, everything to reduce the likelihood of successful attacks. So these are some of the practical use cases used for threat intelligence. I think I've covered pretty much for today. Any questions?
No.
All good. So compared to the beginning of the session, when you didn't know about what is threat intelligence, is the concept clear at least? Like the whole concept, what is threat intelligence, what are the uses, why we need it in a SOC team especially?
Yes,
Things are clear?
ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
little much.
Thank you.
Okay. No further questions, nothing?
Nothing.
Yep. We
Nothing.
have another class or do we have another class or
This is just a basic one. So depending upon the requirement, Sulabh sir will let you know on that. Yeah.
Thank
Can we
you.
get this PPT?
The team will let you know about that.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, then that's it. Normally how it is, we can drop the call, or this is the first time I'm joining, that's why asking. Any other things are there?
You
we
have
can
to
drop
drop
the
the
call.
call. That's all.
Okay, then. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.